Hi, everybody. Before we get to another great interview, please do me a favor and subscribe. Would really help us out. Now let's get to that interview. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Too Opinionated. I'm so excited today. I've got actor Louis Ozawa with me. So welcome, Louis.
Thank you for having me.
Now I'm so excited to talk with you. I've been a fan of yours for a while. You show up in a lot of nerdy stuff.
Is that right? I didn't realize it was so nerdy.
Yeah,
nerd,
yeah.
So I guess maybe it works out. Yeah.
You can trust me on that. It's nerdy.
Okay.
You're in a lot of nerdy stuff.
Cool.
A lot of sci-fi, a lot of kind of fantasy fiction type of stuff. Yeah, kind of nerdy.
Sure.
So I remember, I think the first time I remember seeing you on film was probably True Blood around that time. I'm sure you've done stuff before, but you were on at least a couple episodes there.
No, I'd already done Predators and Bourne Legacy before I did True Blood.
Oh, well then I totally would have seen you on those. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking they came after, but yeah, I totally would.
No, yeah.
Has it already been that long?
I know, if you can believe it. There was recently I jumped on a Zoom. It was the 10-year anniversary, and that was a few years ago of Predators, right? Because Predators came out in 2010 or 11.
Yeah, I was thinking it was just a few years ago that we had that.
I know, crazy.
Yeah,
crazy. Yeah,
which was pretty cool to being a part of Predator. In that universe, not bad. That's pretty cool.
Not bad considering it was my first Hollywood film ever. It was kind of a dream way to start my career. Not a bad way.
Not too bad. Did you have to do special training for that? Did you have to any type of martial arts or gun training, anything like that?
Yeah, my character was a master swordsman. So I grew up practicing kendo since I was 5 years old. And so that was kind of a nice confluence of events. And I trained with my sensei. We brought my sensei over to kind of help the stunt team choreograph the fight with the Predator. And that was a process about 4 to 6 weeks. And we kept getting rained out and we kept changing the kind of choreography. But ultimately, my sensei was in kind of Austin, Texas for probably 4 to 6 weeks. It was great.
That's pretty great. Did that sword knowledge help you landing the role, or were they just oh, that's great, you know how to do some of that stuff?
I think it had something to do with it. The director, Nimrod Antal, he was an enthusiast of kendo, and I think he saw that on my resume. And he could tell that I could use the sword, and so that's how I got the job. I think at the time I was a downtown theater actor in New York, and I wasn't into kind of working out at all. And so, that was a process too. I hit the gym 6 days a week with a trainer once we started. Yeah.
I think that's what I'm missing is I need somebody to cast me in something huge just so I can get in shape.
I mean, that's pretty big incentive when you have to take your shirt off for the whole world to see.
Right.
That'll get you in the gym 6 days a week for sure.
That's the hardest part, just showing up.
Well, cutting out the sweets and alcohol, that's pretty hard too. You got to cut out everything that's fun for
Yeah, that's no fun either. I
think that's less fun than hitting the gym, actually.
Yeah, agreed.
Hitting the gym's fun. Yeah.
Yeah, because you and all the dieting and all that, it's all a matter of calories you have going in, calories you got going out. And that's the only way you're gonna really drop the weight and get in shape. But that's hard.
True.
Yeah. So we were lucky enough to talk with Adrian Paul, who played the Highlander in the series, the TV show. So I'm bringing that up because he's got a little side gig going where he gets a group of people and you hang out in a castle and you just sword fight all day long. And then you have a big feast at night and spend the night in the castle. So I'm thinking,
sounds like,
yeah, that you could do some of that.
Heck yeah, bring it. I'd like to hang out in a castle.
I was like, that's the best idea I've ever heard. Just hang out. Now,
like
I was
wait, but real swords? Is it to the
I'm going to assume it's not real swords. I never thought to ask.
Okay, because who knows, Is this somewhere in Europe or where is this?
He bounces around. He bounces around to different locations. But yeah, I would assume that it's not real swords, or maybe that's the reason you get the feast. You got to survive the day.
Winner take all.
There can be only one, so there's one guy at the end.
Well, he must be doing pretty well if he's still around. So
yeah, he's doing okay. So I've jumped out of order. I usually start by just asking how you got into acting. What made you want to become an actor?
Oh gosh, I did my first gig when I was 6 or 7 years old.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was as a kid, I was very proud to tell people this. Now it's not as kind of exciting of a thing to mention, but my first job was a Jell-O pudding commercial with Bill Cosby when I was just 6 or 7, and that was kind of a few years back.
That would have been a great thing to mention.
A long time ago. Yeah, that's right. Everyone used to think it was so cool, and now it's not so cool for obvious reasons. But I got a kind of taste of it, the kind of set life, and I remember all the details to this day, especially the craft service table with all the goodies and sweets and all the people doting on you, and the hair and makeup and the costuming, and but at the time, my family, we didn't have the kind of too much money, and there was I had to join the union at that point, and my mom at the time didn't think it was a good way for me, good use of my time and good use of our money. So I kind of got out of acting for that reason, and just got thrown into martial arts and sports, and I never really picked it up again until I got to college. I was kind of bored and lost in college, and I came across an intro to acting class, and turned out I was pretty good at it. And then I started doing plays, and next thing I knew, I had an agent, and I started working in commercials and stuff. And after college, a few years later, I entered a conservatory program. I went to Brown University to get my MFA.
Yeah, very nice, very nice.
I got out in 2006, and ever since then I've kind of been working, which has been great. It's been awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty terrific. What outside of the martial arts, what sports were you playing through school?
It was a weird combo, actually. In the fall, I would play football. I was wide receiver, defensive back and kick returner. And then in the winter, I would swim. In New York, swimming was a winter sport because it was indoors. And then during the spring, I either did track or tennis. Weird combo of sports. But I grew up kind of playing everything and doing everything.
Yeah, that's pretty great. You must have been pretty fast if you're a wide receiver and you're running track. What was your track events?
Long jump was my specialty.
Very nice.
But I was decently fast. I mean, not on like the national level, or there's kids from Texas and whatnot in the middle of the country. This is so fast. This was New York City. The competition wasn't that intense.
I ran some track. I was fast enough to be on the relay teams, but I was the slow guy on the relay teams.
That was me. Relay, like 400 relay, 4x100 relay. And swimming was probably my most competitive sport, but same, I was 50 and 100, 50, 100, and then the relays as well. Yeah,
that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So have you done theater since you got out of school?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, lots of it, loads of it.
Yeah.
I was in New York from 2006 to 2013. So, I was born and raised in New York, went to school in Providence. And when I came back from, 2006 all the way to 2013, I was doing tons of theater in New York City.
Yeah,
mostly very low paid, mind you.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. And theater though, it's so exhausting, but what a great way to kind of hone your skills, because you got to go out there at least every day, maybe a couple times a day.
Absolutely. There's two shows in one day sometimes.
Yeah. So I loved you in Man in the High Castle.
Thank you. Yeah, that was a fun one.
You were really
that was
good.
A great character. Yeah, that was a good one.
That I thought they did a good job with that series. I'd always enjoyed the book, but I thought they did a good job adapting it.
Mm-hmm. That was that was a favorite actually of Philip K. Dick's, the book. In fact, you've probably heard the story, but his daughter Issa was the kind of executor and also kind of the producer behind all like his kind of intellectual property now. And I believe it was her. She was telling me that when her dad visited, Philip K. Dick visited the set of Blade Runner, he said, this reminds me of my book, The Man in the High Castle. You should really read this. And I think Ridley Scott had read it back then and had optioned it back all the way back then. And they tried to make it into a movie several times and went through various kind of incarnations and ultimately landed at Amazon years and years, decades later.
Yeah, that's kind of neat. And I was so happy. It lasted a few seasons, which was really nice because I think that story lends itself more to a series than a movie. It'd be a difficult story to tell in 2 hours.
Absolutely. And I think the confluence of, kind of the streaming platforms coming and the was like the right mix.
Yeah, because it was pretty early for Amazon. It was one of their earlier, in-house shows.
Yeah. I was just having, a glass of wine last night and talking to some of my castmates, because I'm working on another Amazon show right now. And, Amazon, I remember maybe 8 or 9 years ago, Amazon had that thing where you could choose, they would put a pilot on and then you could choose which one you wanted to see, and that was probably 8 or 9 years ago, maybe 10 years at the most.
Yeah, because I think it was one, The Tick, I think was one of them that they did that with. Yeah, I remember that. Sure. That was kind of a neat idea.
Yeah, I mean, not sustainable, probably not.
Yeah. Fun as a fan.
Yeah.
You're like, let's check some stuff out. Fan, yeah. But now, if I remember right, and I couldn't remember the names, but there was a few of them that didn't become anything. So you watched the pilot and that was it.
I had several friends that were in those pilots that were like, yes, please. And never happened for them. Yeah. But, they're still working. They're doing fine. But
they didn't have to leave acting because of it.
No. It's tough to kind of have to ask your friends, please vote on my show. Please vote on everyone just for the sake of your TV pilot. But
but you'd have to do it. I'd be calling everybody I knew.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'm glad I never had to do
that. So the other show I think you're talking about is Hunters, which is incredible. And what a cast. We've been lucky enough to have a few of the cast on. We talked to Saul about a month ago, who was terrific. But I mean, what's it like working with, you're on a cast that's filled with, they're kind of legends.
Yeah. And they keep adding. Yeah. This season we have Jennifer Jason Leigh as well.
I saw.
Yes. It is an incredible, like, murderer's row of actors, and it's wonderful. It's so fun to play with them and get to work with your heroes.
Yeah. Well, you hold your own really well. I love your acting in that even when you're not speaking, you emote a lot. Like you give away a lot just with your demeanor and your expressions. And at times, especially on this show, it's heartbreaking. It just tears you up.
Thank you. Yeah, it's I feel blessed. This character really spoke to me the first time I read it on the page, and I knew I just felt like I just needed to play this role. And I know a lot of people think that, but I really felt really close to this character. And we wrapped season 2 in November, and I can't wait for you guys to see it. It gets pretty wild, and my character goes on some transformations and some really like equally challenging kind of psychological moments. So yeah,
I'm excited to see where it goes this season. It took a while to get season 2 out.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not entirely sure actually when it's coming out, but it should hopefully come out before the end of the year. And we're working around the clock to finish. But it's hugely ambitious this season, and because of our cast and because of COVID, we've taken our time coming back. But I hope it's worth the wait.
I think, yeah.
From what I've seen so far, like just my scenes that I've been working on in post, it's really it's thrilling. It's exciting.
Yeah. I think it's really exciting, and I don't think it's going to be too much longer because you're starting to get that buzz. It's popping up online. You're seeing different articles about it and stuff. So I think it's coming. End of the year's fine, but let's get it out there pretty soon.
Well, I can't say much more, but
that's right. Yeah, I know. You don't want to give anything. As a fan, we want to know everything, but also be surprised. So yes. I don't know how you walk that line. No spoilers.
Yeah. By the way, the Amazon show that I'm shooting right now is not Hunters. We're done with that one. I'm shooting yet another Amazon show.
Oh, okay. Which one is that?
This is not secret information. I'm shooting season 4 of Jack Ryan.
Oh, you know what? I did see that you were going to be on Jack Ryan, and it just didn't click that was the new season coming out. That's exciting.
Yeah, super exciting. Another amazing role and another incredible series and franchise to be a part of. It's massive in scale. We were shooting in Budapest up until 2 weeks ago, and now we're here in the Canary Islands. But yeah, the show takes you to so many different cities and countries. It's epic.
You get to use your martial arts abilities
in this show. I don't think I can reveal any information, unfortunately.
That's one that my father.
I know they can't. I couldn't even. People aren't even talking about season 3 yet because they've been shot kind of back to back, and so
right.
Yeah, I'm pretty. Yeah,
this one's going to be a little bit. Anything. It's a little ways down the road. Yeah, my father's just a huge fan of that series. He was always big with the books, so normally we'll get together and watch those. Together, mostly because he can't figure out how to get to Amazon on his own. So
That's right.
Yeah.
So he's like on the wrong. He's on like the app, and he's like, "How come I can't get on Amazon?"
No, he can't because he wants to watch it on the TV. He cannot get it switched. He's on Direct TV. He cannot get that. Doesn't matter how many times I show him. I was like, "I'll just come watch it with you. We'll just
awesome.
We'll just take." So it works out okay.
Now, I kind of do the same thing with my parents. They don't even have Amazon, so I got to bring my computer over to Japan actually, so that they could see it.
Yeah, I've told this story before, but we had Saul on, from the Hunters, yes. and I have been trying we've been doing this podcast for about 3.5 years, and I've spent most of that time trying to get my mother to watch or to listen to it. And she always says, well, I talk to you every day. Why do I need to listen to it? So I never got that. Well, then I put out that Saul was coming on, and it just so happened that she's watching old episodes of Frasier. That she discovered it like it's a new show. She's like, have you watched this Frasier? It's really good. And I was like, yeah, I've seen that. It's been a while. I've seen that. But anyway, Saul had a nice run on that show, so she saw him on there. So when she saw he was coming on the show, then she wanted to watch. And she's like, how do I watch this podcast?
Yeah. I got to watch that podcast. I miss him. It's been quite some time since I've seen him. He's he's become very close to my family, and unfortunately with COVID, our families haven't been able to get together as much as we'd like, but my kids love him. He's just such a great, he's that kind of character. Yeah, great guy.
Yeah,
and
so
I love his kids too.
Yeah. He talks about them. Just you can tell he's just a very proud dad. Yeah, it's pretty neat. So you are on Amazon payroll. They don't do a show without calling you first.
Yeah. It's funny because my wife is also on an Amazon show, which is about to come out this summer. Do
you want to give that one?
That's that one I can talk about. They just announced it today. It's The Summer I Turned Pretty. It's kind of in the YA genre, not typically something you'd see me in, but it's by the author Jenny Han, who maybe you're familiar with, To All the Boys on Netflix. Hugely successful movies. And so this is Jenny's first TV series, and my wife Jackie Chung plays the mom of the lead of the show, and you'll be able to see both. We like to joke that we've sold our firstborn sons at Amazon for our careers, which isn't true.
Well, that's what you would have to say.
Right. Yes,
because you also had a really nice run on Bosch. It's also an Amazon show.
Also on Amazon, yeah. Also, I know, it's wild. So wait, it's Men in the High Castle, Bosch, Hunters, and Jack Ryan season 4. I feel like there's one that I'm forgetting though. There's another Amazon.
Let me look. Let me see if I can figure out. Because there's
maybe it's just 4.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's not a bad run. Yeah. No, maybe it's just 4.
Well, if that's all you can do, I guess that's okay. Now, I really enjoyed you on Bosch. It was season 4, I think, was when you were on there. And that show ended up going on for, now it's spinning off.
Which is wild. Yeah. And you'd be surprised, Man in the High Castle is a very niche thing, and as is Hunters, as big as those shows are, it's amazing whenever I go to like a family gathering with, my parents' generation, or go to a wedding and there's older generation of people, or just, people in general, or all around the country, they love Bosch and they love Jack Ryan. It's wild how many people watch it. It's kind of like this addictive thing. And yeah, it was so much, and I get it because I've watched all of them, and they're super fun to watch, and they're exciting, and I can't wait to see the spinoff. She's great.
She's terrific. I think that's why my dad likes Amazon, because they take a lot of the books that he's reading, turns them into TV shows. Bosch is another one we watched together, and he loves that. Reacher was another one. He loves those books, so he was very interested in watching the show. So yeah, that's one thing I think Amazon has done well, picking the books to adapt.
Well, they've got this kind of little known series of books called Lord of the Rings too, right? That's about to drop soon.
You know what? It is a little off topic, but I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan, as a zillion people are. But what amazes me is they're spending something like 4 or 5 times an episode what Game of Thrones was spending. And I keep thinking, what would Game of Thrones have looked like if they'd spent that kind of money? Because they were spending a lot of money on that show. It's just amazing.
Yeah. This is kind of like a maybe insider look into television, but sometimes those numbers are inflated and it's hype. Yeah. And sometimes, the costs of the first season is always going to be more than the subsequent seasons because you're building everything, the right. sets and whatnot. So, yes, they spent a lot of money to get the rights, just the rights to get to do the show and to buy the show. And then they've spent a lot of money and in the midst of COVID in New Zealand shooting this, epic kind of story. I'm wildly excited to see what that kind of a show looks like. And to be honest, I've never seen anything like that. So yeah.
No, it is pretty exciting. That they didn't call you to see if you wanted on it?
No, I was already attached to Hunters, but no, no one called me. But I know quite a few people that are on the show.
Yeah.
One of my good buddies, Dylan Smith from Spectral. I don't know if you've seen that one. That's
yeah. Spectral was it? That was another. It was a sci-fi type of movie.
There you go. They're in nerd genre for sure. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Also shot.
Yeah, you were a sergeant in that movie, if I remember right.
That's right. Yeah. That was a fun one. That was a really fun one to shoot too, with some great actors.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really good. It was really good. You would do well, I think, on the Wheel of Time if you're staying with Amazon.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. That is another one. Yeah, shoots in Prague, right? So and Budapest as well. We were. I don't know if I can say this, but yeah, I guess we could say this. No, maybe I shouldn't reveal it. Anyway, I don't know what I'm allowed to say and what I'm not.
It's difficult. Yeah, we don't want to get you. Well, we might want to get you.
Say I was shooting somewhere in Europe for season 2 of Hunters, and I discovered that Wheel of Time was also shooting in that same city somewhere in Central
Very nice.
Europe. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's safe.
That's my only connection to Wheel of Time. I actually don't have any other connections. But yeah, I enjoyed watching. It's great.
Yeah, I had been a fan of the books since they came out back in the 90s, when they first started coming out. I thought they did a good job with the adaptation because that's not easy. You got 15 or 16 books, and they run about 1,000 pages each. It's tough to pare that down to where you can put it in a, 8 or 10 episode season. So I thought they did good.
So is the idea to kind of maybe to spread it out over all the books over several seasons?
I'm assuming they're probably going to go through a couple books each season. Hopefully this lasts long enough to get to the end. It'd be a good payoff. Could take a while.
Yeah, could take 2 decades to get through the season.
I mean, if you did 2 books, 2 books a season, it'd take you 7 years.
Yeah.
So it might be on for a decade.
I know.
They're going to have to do some jumps, I think. It'd be tough to last that long. But yeah, and I think it was like 8 episodes. It was fairly quick. The days of 26 episodes in a season kind of gone.
No, and COVID has changed all of that too.
Yeah,
it really has. It's truncated every show. Every show's shorter.
Yeah, for sure. So I wanted to mention another one before we kind of wrap it up. So I run, but I have trouble running just like outside because I need something to distract me from the fact that I'm running. So I run on a treadmill so I can watch something with that. Okay. So the show I've been watching was I've been binging Another Life on Netflix, and you showed up in an episode.
Oh yeah, that's an obscure one. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, I was like, well, that's a pretty good coincidence because I just watched it. It's only been maybe a week ago.
Yeah. that's, I really probably worked only 2 or 3 days on that show, but I remember it fondly just because it was a really cool little, it was great to work with her and to have those kind of intense moments. Kind of strange as an actor. I'd never had that opportunity to, I'd literally fly in from LA and spend the night, and then the next morning it's like, hi, I'm Louis. we're about to do this really intimate moment, like we've been together for a lifetime, or we've had this torrid affair. Yeah. And she's such a pro, and it's so cool to work with, and it was so easy and natural to do. And at the end of the day was bye, and then I flew right back to LA.
Those have to be kind of fun to do, though, because you've got steady work, but then you can go do something just for a few days or a week. That's kind of neat. Like a vacation.
It was cool, yeah. And I always love going up to, they shoot in Vancouver, and I love going up to Vancouver. I'll take any excuse. It's a quick flight from LA, and have some great, they've got great seafood and world-class Chinese food, and just have a few good meals.
Get up to Vancouver.
Oh, it's great.
They film a ton of stuff in Vancouver.
Oh yeah. All the kind of stuff you probably like a lot of it is shot in Vancouver.
Yeah, I was amazed that they do a lot of Hallmark stuff too. And a lot of the Hallmark ones that you think are taking place in New York are actually being filmed in Vancouver. And that amazed me.
Right. Every now and then you'll see like a mountain in the distance, and you're like, that's not New York.
Where are they?
You remember that Jackie Chan movie, Rumble in the Bronx? I don't know if you've ever seen it.
Yeah.
Is that just so there's this ridiculous scene of a hovercraft, which is supposed to be like on the Hudson or something. It lands on this beach, and there's a huge mountains like the Canadian Rockies in the background. I'm like, what does that have to do with the Bronx?
I haven't seen that. Maybe it's there somewhere. I haven't seen that.
I'm pretty sure I grew up my entire life in New York. I've never seen mountains in the distance. Yeah.
So last one I'll mention, you have done work both for DC and for Marvel. So you've been on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., a couple episodes of Supergirl.
And
so, like I said, all nerdy.
Well, what's the question?
No question, just mentioning it. You've been on both. No question. You've been on both.
Yes. Yeah, I know. Oh my gosh, I'm part of both universes.
Both universes.
Yeah, both equally fun. One, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was, I think, one of the first Marvel shows, right? Like one of the early days. Early. And I was in that first season too.
Yeah.
So that has kind of significance to me because I just moved to LA, and I hadn't gotten into TV much at that point. I was mostly doing, I'd done Predators and the Bourne Legacy and a few kind of New York TV shows, but I just gotten married and just moved out to LA, and it was one of my first, I think it may have been my first gig in LA. Yeah.
That was another one that it seems like it was just a few years ago, but it's been a while now.
It's been a while. Like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. had what, 7 seasons, 6 seasons? Yeah, so it was a long time, and it's been on.
Well, it ended it ended a few years ago.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
But I consider Jed Whedon and Marissa Tancharoen Whedon to be, we've had weird, connections over the years, and we still keep in touch. It's nice. It's nice to be a part of that family.
Yeah, he's a really talented comic book writer as well. He does a really good job with comics when he chooses to do some of that. But I owned a couple of comic book stores years ago, and so I still read a little bit. Me and my son will still check those out. But he's a pretty good writer.
Yeah.
So I did see that you had got a chance to do a little bit of directing. So you stepped behind the camera a little bit. Can you tell us anything about that?
Oh yeah, well, oh man, it's nowhere to be seen. Actually, I need to get it out into the world. It's
doing the festival circuit, right?
Yeah. Well, right now we've just kind of put it on hold for a little bit. Like COVID kind of put took the wind out of our sails a little, but it's something that I made with my wife too. Actually, we both act in it, and the great actor Bernie White is in the piece as well, and it's it is some nerd stuff. It's about a family that's facing a dilemma of whether or not to use a special kind of procedure that'll help them maybe be better parents. And the wife is kind of on the fence. There's technology involved, and the father's a little more gung-ho initially. Yeah. So
you need to get that out there.
Something that a lot of young parent or new parents can relate to. You know, some of the desperation you may have when your kid's crying and you don't know what to do. Yes, I would like to get it out.
It sounds really interesting.
Hopefully I'll get it out by the end of the year, but if not, maybe 2023.
Yeah. Is Louis the director hard on Louis the actor?
I found, I asked this the other day on set with John Krasinski, actually, because he directs and acts in things himself and on a much bigger scale. But I asked him, like, how do you direct the scenes? Like, the thing that I found challenging and I'm not used to yet is that I'm watching the scene from a director's point of view at points, and then wait, I still have to act, I'm in this thing, and it's my line. And after a while I just had to kind of turn over the reins to our producer. I had done all the pre-production. I built the shots, everything was set, we had done the rehearsals, and I kind of had to just turn that part of my brain off and act exclusively, mostly, and count on them to say. I knew after we finished, I knew for the most part, if we were doing a decent job and if I was doing a decent job, that we could move on. But there were times when my producer was like, "No, Louis, I think we should have another take." So maybe I'm easier on myself than I probably would be.
Did you enjoy it enough that you would want to do it again at some point?
Not without at least a $5 million budget where I could actually occasionally have time to look at the screen and make some decisions.
Yeah, well, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. Well, Louis, thank you so much. No less than 5. I tell people the same thing. I'll do it, but no less than 5.
So basically never. I'll never be able to direct myself. Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes if shows last long enough, they start asking members of the cast to direct an episode. So
True. I'm still waiting for a show that I'm on that'll go that long. But I don't think anyone from Hunters wants me to be directing anything anytime soon. But I'll let them do that because we've got.
But 5 years, season 8, maybe.
Who knows? God willing. Yeah, hopefully.
Louis, thank you so much. This has just been a blast. I really appreciate you taking some time because I know it's like nighttime for you. It's getting close to bedtime.
Yes, it is close to bedtime. Thank you so much, and it's a pleasure. And yeah, I'm a big fan of the episodes that I've watched, and I'm definitely going to watch Saul's episode now. I can't wait.
Oh, well, thank you so much for watching. That means a lot. That means we're putting a lot of stuff out there. It's nice to hear somebody's watching.
No, yeah, I've watched quite a few, so I'm really excited. Yeah,
that's terrific. Well, okay, so you probably know what I'm going to ask now. So a couple of things before you go. We talked about a lot, but anything else you're working on that we can keep an eye out for?
Well, yes. I'm sorry, I didn't even mention this. Pachinko.
Oh, I'm so glad you did. That's an Apple movie, right?
Apple show series.
Oh, it's a series. Yeah. I totally meant to ask you about that. Yeah, tell me a little bit about that.
I'm so sorry I blanked on that because you know how Apple releases one episode a week after the first three. And this weekend will be the season finale, the 8th episode, which I'm in actually. So it's a beautiful show, an incredible story, you know, a kind of unprecedented kind of show. The show is primarily either in Korean or Japanese. There's a smattering of English in the show.
Yeah.
And it takes place over the course of 4 generations of this family that has been affected by the Japanese Empire. So
Very nice.
The story spans from 1913 all the way to 1989. And for me, being, you know, half Japanese and my father being Taiwanese and Taiwan being Taiwan formerly occupied by Japan and part of the Japanese Empire, and my parents living in Japan at the moment, and the complex kind of history that comes with, and the diaspora of Asian people that are out there. I think it's really, really incredible, heart-wrenching kind of a series. It's epic and old school, and I hope, you know, more and more people catch on to it, and that they watch this show. Directed, written by Asian Americans, and acted by, you know, Asians from all over the world. You know, people speaking in 2-3 different languages. Like, degree of difficulty on this show is like sky high.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because when I was doing a little bit of research, getting ready for our talk, I saw that you were in that, and I didn't even realize that it was out. And we'll absolutely check that one out, because that's exciting. It looks really good. Plus, yeah. Apple they don't seem to make too many mistakes on the stuff they put out. Most of their stuff is really good.
Well, it's very curated, and, you know, they're not in the volume game. They seem to be more in the quality game, and I just feel really excited and fortunate to be part of this kind of a show as well, to be on, you know, 3 flagship shows right now, Hunters, Jack Ryan, and Pachinko. It's like really an amazing and varied kind of assortment of shows to be a part of.
Yeah, it's so exciting. That's terrific.
Fair warning though, I'm just a tiny part of this first season of Pachinko, and so really you should be watching it just because the show is awesome. It's just awesome. I can't.
That hints that you may be in the 2nd season.
Well, I don't know about that. I don't know if there'll be a 2nd season, but all I could say is in this first season, I'm a very small part of it. Just consider me more of a fan than anything.
Yeah. No, I'm so glad you brought that one up. Okay, so last thing, you know, where can we find you on social media?
I'm mostly on Instagram. Both my Twitter handle and Instagram handle are the same. It's at Louis Ozawa, LOUISOZAWA.
Very nice. Yeah. I found you on Instagram really easy. You popped right up.
Yeah. Instagram is kind of where I contribute mostly. Occasionally I'll post something to Twitter. I probably should do it more often, but I don't know. I'm more of I'm a photographer now, mostly a hobbyist. So I like to put up my photography from time to time, and occasionally put some selfies and promotional stuff.
Instagram, I think, is the best one because it's mostly just photos.
Yeah, it's
nice. There's nobody yelling on Instagram. It's very nice.
No. I tend to stay, it's mostly aesthetic.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, Louis, thank you so much. This has been a real pleasure, real honor. You got to come back. Well, you got to come back when we can talk about some of the other stuff you got going on.
I know. Unfortunately, I can't talk about it yet, but soon. I'm happy to talk about Hunters whenever Hunters comes out. You may have to wait a while for Jack Ryan, but definitely Hunters for sure.
Yeah, that'd be great. Okay, hold on one second. Boy, that was so much fun for me. So Louis Ozawa, just the best. Hopefully I got his last name right there at the end. In my defense, I went to listen to a few interviews that he has done. He's such a so generous with his time. So I was trying to make sure that I had that correct, but hopefully I got it right that time. I hope you guys enjoyed that because he is such a good actor. I think he is so talented and absolutely honored that he's watched the show a little bit. That just means a ton. And I took it easy. I didn't even bring up most of the other things that I've seen him in. I think I hit the ones that, or most of the ones that he's been in multiple episodes or is in a starring role. But he's been on Blind Spot, Magnum PI, Kidding, which I thought was a really good show, Elementary, MacGyver, Hawaii Five-0. He did do a couple episodes of Grey's Anatomy. I probably should have brought that one up. But yeah, I mean, what an actor. And if you haven't seen The Hunters, season 1 is out. Definitely go and check that out. His scenes, his character and his scenes, and some of them will just absolutely break your heart. His acting in them is just amazing. Absolutely love him as an actor. Man in High Castle, he's really good. I loved him in Bosch. You know, we've had several of the Bosch cast on the show, and he is absolutely stands right there with him. He's so talented. Yeah. And we were talking off camera, and I'm going to throw this out there because I don't want to forget. And you mentioned, maybe we could do a panel interview at some point. I was like, yes, we can. So hopefully at some point we'll get the gang together and have a little panel interview. How much fun would that be? Thank you guys so much for tuning in again this week. Don't take that for granted. There's so many podcasts out there. There's definitely plenty of opportunities for you to spend your time, but you come back to us, and that means so much. If you haven't done so yet, we're trying to grow our YouTube channel, so you can help us there. It's free, but if you could subscribe, that would really help us out. We're trying to grow that and get it to the point that we can kind of take his podcast to another level. But you have to have subscribers for that. So if you're willing, we could use the help. You can find all 400 or so episodes, audio and video, on our website, meistercon.com. If we're going, on location, if we're going to do anything in studio, if we're covering a convention, we're hoping to get back into that now that those are starting to come back. All of that will be on the website, meistercon.com. Thank you guys so much. Until next time, bye, everybody.